All right, so we're going to have a WWE update. The Fastlane, can't call them pay-per-views anymore, really, events, if you can call it that. Maybe a glorified Raw is what it really was. Happened on Sunday. I watched a chunk of it.
I watched all of it.
You watched all of it, okay.
All of it.
Yeah, Ian is not looking happy.
No.
All I know is the big highlights is that Ziggler gets pinned again by, what was it, Kane pinned him in the tag match? Because you have to protect Kane in 2015 versus your up-and-comers.
I could not believe that I mean, like, the outcome of that match, not just because it was Kane covering Ziggler, the fact that they won at all.
I don't know. I mean, they're the company men. They've been there forever. But the ass backwards. In
the women's match, I refuse. No, I'm just not. I'm not going to call it that.
The Page match.
No, it was abysmal.
It was It was abysmal.
And I like Paige, but the Bellas, they might be nice in real life.
I met them,
but get them. I don't care. Get them the fun.
They are nice.
No, you didn't meet them. You waved at Daniel Bryan.
I spoke to all three of them for like a minute and a half.
Okay, I didn't.
From 20 feet away.
From 20 feet away.
Daniel Bryan wished me an awkward happy birthday.
Yeah, with a cattle prod.
He's my friend.
The Bello victory was insane. Did you see that thing about AJ Lee, like, legitimately calling out Stephanie McMahon?
We're going off top of it. Yes, she called that.
That was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, Patricia. We don't want to talk. We're not going to get political, but Patricia Arquette made a point about equal pay during her speech at the Oscars.
How is this political? Equal pay should just be a fucking thing. That's not politics.
It's political in terms of how you address it and how you.
I'm not. No, fuck. It's done. Anyways, that was a really awful. Like,
it's political. I mean, you may not like me saying, but it's a political thing. Anyway, but she called out Stephanie because she said, "You're agreeing with Patricia Arquette, but why are the women in WWE getting paid less money?
Right?
Why are they not given TV time? Okay, AJ, I understand, but I'll answer this because WWE treats it as a sideshow attraction. They don't treat it as serious.
Yeah, but they don't need to if they would bring more people through NXT.
They don't need to, but the fact of the matter is that they're not selling pay-per-views based upon women's wrestling, nor have they really ever.
Well, this is what I think plenty of people tune into NXT to see the women's four-way. And this is what I'm getting at. They put on
Sounds hot. No.
They put on such an abysmal women's match at Fastlane, yet the women's Fatal 4-Way was one of the best NXT matches they've put on.
I've heard it was good. I didn't see it.
It's amazing, and the finish is fantastic. It's not super... Anyway, so that was annoying. I mean, Ambrose and... why am I brain farting?
Barrett.
Yeah, Barrett was pretty decent. The best match of the night, before we get into the worst match of the night, was Rusev. Rusev
and Cena. I watched a good chunk of that match. Rusev has never really let me down since he's come in. He's only been in there for a year.
That match, right? What they did with that match is, I wish Cena would have tapped, but what they did was make Rusev look incredibly powerful.
I would have preferred if they didn't have the kick to the groin part of it before making him look, because they had to keep mentioning, well, he kicked him in the groin, then he locked it in. Yeah, no, but he still looked strong, though, Rusev, obviously.
Yeah, but Cena kept breaking out, and Rusev kept I mean, that's the part that I like. Kept hooking him back in, into
the accolade, which is basically almost like a camel clutch.
It is a camel clutch. It's
like he puts on the face instead of under the chin, basically. Right. That's the difference.
But it's the best one.
It's the best one?
It's the best.
Is it better than the Steiner recliner?
It's the best camel clutch modification.
It was a good match. The Sting Triple H interaction happened almost exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah.
I guess they don't
Triple H comes down with his jeans and his ratty t-shirt.
He came out like, Triple H, you're 45 years old.
I'm a brawler.
You don't look cool anymore in the fucking jean, and leather jacket. It's, enough, But they have that interaction. They're setting up the match. He tried to bring out the sledgehammer. Sting had his trusty baseball bat, put it to his neck. We knew that was going to happen, obviously.
That was a cute enough interaction. I like how Sting still hasn't said a word.
I do like that, but I think they're going to have him talk eventually. But the one thing that didn't get across past many people is that Triple H had to say something like, we were the respective, icons of our federation. No. Sting was the icon and standard bearer. Triple H, even during most power time, you're maybe 4th or 5th on the list behind Austin, behind The Rock, behind Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
You were not close to being the standard bearer, ever close to even being as important as Sting was to WCW.
Triple H did not become important until much later when he stopped as much wrestling and did more was more of a storyline character. If you actually compare the actual timelines of Sting being important, and I'm actually going to go one step further than you. When Sting was important, Triple H was a fucking no one.
Oh yeah, we're talking like the late 80s to mid 90s, even to late 90s. Triple H.
I'm talking to late 90s. I'm talking like WCW.
Oh yeah,
Monday Night War era.
Yeah, even when Shawn Michaels had to retire, what was that? 98 he retired. No, Pat, it was this May 5th, 97. Anyway, even when he had to retire, Triple H still was, while he was the leader of DX, was still behind Austin and Rock, and you can even say Mick Foley as being more popular than him. He was still 3rd or 4th.
Right.
And while Sting was the Crow character was hugely, obviously popular.
Yeah,
hugely popular. Even when Goldberg got popular, Sting you could say was number 2. Was still hugely popular at that point. But then even when those guys went away, when Triple H in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s was the big guy. It's like it's not a big deal anymore because now there's no competition. So that was the only thing that bothered me about that. Otherwise, it's gonna be fine. We'll see. I'm sure the match will be fine. I'm not gonna see WrestleMania though because Daniel Bryan has to win every match. No. Roman Reigns wins against Daniel Bryan. It was a fine match. Obviously, Daniel Bryan carried him.
It was a better match than I expected it to be, but I've seen some people online who are newer to wrestling being like, Reigns won, and it's like, or Reigns looked good. You guys don't understand what carrying is. Bryan made Reigns look good. And I don't hate Reigns personally. I wish him no ill will.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
And I hope he becomes a better wrestler. But I don't understand the push to the moon. Now, honestly, I mean, do I say this? Do I really earn your ire and the ire of everyone else? I don't necessarily give a fuck about Daniel Bryan anymore.
You can say that.
I don't. I don't necessarily. That whole match was, I wanted Bryan to win because Bryan's a good wrestler, but what killed Bryan for me is not even necessarily Bryan's fault. It's how they fucked him over last year. He won the title, got injured, not his fault again. They stripped it from him, and he was gone. It's just a case of poor timing, and now he's back at the right time, and I'm just...
Well, yeah, he should have won the Rumble.
Yeah, I wanted Bryan... Right, exactly. If they had done
he should have won the Rumble. Then you'd have a 8-week build-up to WrestleMania.
Yes, if they had him win the Rumble, I'd be fine. But by the time we got to this match, with all of its bullshit,
I agree.
I did not care. I did not care if Bryan won. I did not care if Reigns won. All the steam, all of the emotion was taken out of me.
I told you I wasn't watching WrestleMania before this match. I said I don't care if they make it a triple threat. I'm not watching because they blew their chance to having the quote-unquote biggest match. I told you, it would have been the biggest match since probably Hogan-Andre. It would have been huge. It would have been absolutely huge. Yeah. Or at least Rock Austin would it be.
Let's say Rock Austin. I don't know about Hogan.
Biggest match in the past. I said this before. Biggest match in the past 15 years, probably. It would have been because he's the biggest face they've had in a huge amount of time. Pure babyface pops. Even at the end of the match, you know, they're cheering all his moves. They're not really cheering Reigns that much.
No, they're not.
When he wins, it's like.
No, I feel like everyone feels bad for Reigns and everyone's trying to get behind him, but it's not happening. It's tough.
I do not remember. I guess you can probably go back to WCW days, but I was not a huge watcher of them trying to push like Paul Roma into the Horsemen when he shouldn't have been.
Oh God!
But I do not remember a time in recent memory where the number one face of the company had to not just lose cleanly to a guy that was not even close to being a top babyface, but then go out of their way to humble him the next night on Raw to come out and basically say, you know, I didn't believe in you either. I didn't think you were here, but now I want you to beat Brock Lesnar, and shakes his hand and having him tag team with the guy next night. It's like, holy shit. Daniel Bryan is such a company man. Such a company man. Because if that was CM Punk, he would have told WWE to go fuck themselves. He would have said, I'm the number one guy. I should be in the main event. I'm not doing this bullshit for a guy who's not ready. Well, Daniel Bryan, to his credit, and this is why he's such a nice guy, is that
maybe CM Punk should drop the edge, smoke a little weed, and calm the fuck down, because he's not the most important wrestler in the world.
I'm just saying, though, if he was in that situation, and if a lot of wrestlers were in that situation, if I was a wrestler in that situation, it'd be hard for me to say, I'm the guy that should be in the main event. It's obvious to everyone, and now I got to put over this guy who's probably at least a year away from it. And that's what people don't remember. They're like, well, Rock was booed at first. Well, Austin didn't get the reactions at first. Yeah, but you know what? When they got those bad reactions, when they were saying, die, Rocky, die, they weren't main eventing WrestleMania. They didn't main event WrestleMania until they were hugely popular.
No, and it was never because Rocky was a crap wrestler. It was because Rocky was a believable, legitimate heel.
Yes. Or just a believable character in general. Yeah. And Reigns isn't there yet, especially with the bad promos he has almost every week. Not good at all. He has not really improved on that. Guys like Rollins have improved.
That's all, folks.
Not just that, but he looks like a badass, but he doesn't come off as a badass when he speaks. No. That's just unfortunately he hasn't developed that yet. Doesn't mean he can't, doesn't mean he won't. But that's what it comes down to, is that we're going to see by the way, Lesnar walked out of Raw. He was there. They had some sort of business dispute. It hasn't been foretold. This is
good.
But
can I actually say something real quick, just because I wanted to get it in, just so all the little fucking bitches on YouTube can hear me say it again. Brock Lesnar's fucking shit. Anyways, continue.
You had to get that in.
I had to.
Okay. Anyway, the point is that we are less than 5 weeks away from WrestleMania, and you have a lukewarm build-up. You have a
diva part-timer.
It's not his fault as a diva. It's the fact that they put him in that position. It's Vince's fault. It's not his fault. You don't understand that it's their fault for making him champion? You don't understand that. It's their fault them wanting to put over Roman Reigns for a year, like this was their plan. Anyway, so you have a guy that's only going to appear twice before WrestleMania in the next 2 months and have Heyman come out instead. You have a Wyatt Undertaker build-up that is going to
actually hurt. I think that could be interesting.
I don't think it can be, because Wyatt's going to lose. They're not going to have Undertaker lose 2 years in a row.
True.
And Wyatt hasn't won a major feud since frickin' Jericho back in the summer. And before that, who the hell knows that we lost to Cena.
They basically brought Jericho in just to job to him, to Wyatt.
So, and then plus, the rumor is that Undertaker is not even going to show up in the build-up to this. So you're going to have Wyatt talking to an empty coffin for next month. Anyway, so you have that match. And so I'm just not interested.
It's just sad because I thought Wyatt's promo was pretty good.
Oh no, his promos are fine, but it's like if people aren't sure Undertaker's going to show up, and plus, why would Undertaker show up? Wouldn't he want revenge on Lesnar for losing? Wouldn't that be a more logical storyline if you're looking at it from that perspective?
Yeah.
I mean, he came back to face Triple H after he'd won, but almost lost, and he wanted revenge even for that. And now he lost and basically got destroyed, and now he's not coming. Anyway, the whole thing is just fucked up.
All right.
I'm not interested in WrestleMania, and honestly, Ian will probably do a WrestleMania recap. This is the last I'm going to mention WWE for a while.
I'm sure.